Hi, I'm Nadia and I'm the Yogi.
And I'm Michelle and I'm the Blonde.
And this is the Yogi and the Blonde podcast.
In this podcast, we offer guidance,
Motivation,
education,
and inspiration
to help you adopt healthy habits you can sustain for life.
If you enjoy the podcast and would like further information,
head over to our Instagram or YouTube pages.
You can find the links in the bio. Welcome everyone to today's episode with the Yogi and the Blonde. Okay.
That was harmonized. That was lovely.
That was a first. Usually
that was not rehearsed. We don't normally harmonize each other's name, but that sounded beautiful.
That was awesome. We do this little warm up beforehand, and seriously, I'll be showing you. We'll play some little snippets on our social media so you guys can hear how bad it is. But it's fun.
We're never in time. It's fun, but we're never in time.
No, we get a good laugh, and it just sets you up in a good position. I find doing
laughing.
Yeah,
having a laugh.
Yeah, having a bit of a laugh because we record these on a Friday, so it's at the end of the week, so it can be maybe a bit tiring for us. Bring up that energy. Okay.
Is this the end of your week? Do you work on the weekends now?
No, but we say no, I don't work with clients, but I do work on other projects, computer wise stuff, admin kind of thing. So yes and no. Not physically with people, which is good because I get that break. Because what we do is you put out a lot of energy, right? You put a lot of energy out for your client and whatnot. So you've got to make sure we get some turn off time, which is really important.
Indeed.
Now, today, this is something Michelle and I've been discussing a little bit about, which is creatine. And when I think about creatine, I think it's for bodybuilders. Why would I use that, right? Now, Michelle and we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about it. Well, it's going to be a lot more Michelle than me, but I will be putting in my 2 cents. But we aren't going to be talking about creatine and how it's actually, the studies are showing that it's good for us, especially I've been thinking about it for myself because I'm in my perimenopause state and trying to optimize anything I can find to make sure to help support me so I don't get massive symptoms, because there are people who go through menopause and they don't get any symptoms, and it's all on how you take care of yourself. And that's not just by doing one thing, but it's all these little snippet things, and this is one of them. We will talk about that, and also about my kidneys and how's this going to affect my kidneys, because for those that don't know, I've got a kidney disease. So that's something that Michelle and I talked about, and I've actually been talking about with my coach as well. So it's been I've been talking to people about it, so it's been quite fun in that kind of way. So Michelle, now can you explain to us a little bit about what is creatine? And I am saying it right, isn't it?
Creatine, correct.
Creatine. Yeah.
Okay. Creatine. You are.
Okay.
You are.
It was the other bit we were talking about, the medical part.
Yes.
Which Michelle.
So it's interesting, actually. It's an interesting topic. And I guess the reason that we're talking about creatine in our podcast, which is about health and wellness and fitness and all things like that. Creatine is one of the most popular, well-studied supplements that you can take, which is, I guess, why we talk about it in our circles. And I actually sent out an email to my clients. I always send out an email with just some information, and I sent one out about creatine one day, and it was one of the emails I got the most questions about, the most responses about. So it's something that people hear talked about. They know that it exists, but they don't really know what it is. And like you said, your view of it was that it's for bodybuilders.
Yeah.
And, bodybuilders are usually, quite switched on when it comes to doing things that will benefit them. So creatine absolutely is used by bodybuilders because it has some really good effects on your ability to exercise, which I'll get into, but it is not only for bodybuilders. The health impacts
No.
of creatine are beneficial for everybody, but it's got this kind of not stigma, that sounds really negative, but it's got this thought around it that this is a bodybuilder thing. Therefore, it's not appropriate to me.
It's just because it's not people who don't know, there's just that assumption. It's like about judging a book by its cover, right? So
Yes.
you think about creatine, you see and hear bodybuilders using it, so you think it's for them only. So it's that judge by a book
Lack of
by,
understanding.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and not knowing,
Yeah.
which is lack of
So
understanding.
here's the most awesome thing about creatine. We produce it in our bodies. We
Mm.
make creatine. We store it in our bodies. We make it. We also eat it. So creatine is a molecule. It's a molecule that we produce in our liver, and we store it as a molecule called phosphocreatine. We store it in our muscles, and we store it in our brain. So
Yes, because I
we
remember us
produce
talking about
creatine.
that, about how it
Yes.
helps with brain function. And I've read that it helps with that performance and focus. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
good
So
thing.
we store it in our muscles, we store it in our brain. We make it. Our body produces about 1 gram of creatine per day. Generally, we use about 2 grams. So you also ingest creatine because it's stored in muscle tissue. We eat it when we're eating meat products. So beef in particular, and also seafood, will also give us creatine because they are essentially, we're eating the muscles of
What would chicken though?
cow.
Because you just said like seafood, like fish and
Yeah.
meat. What about chicken and pork
Yes.
and lamb and everything else
Yes.
in between, like
Yeah.
Venice, deer meat, moose meat,
Yeah.
all of that?
Yeah.
Anything meat
Meat
wise,
meat wise, but I think beef just happens to have the
highest.
largest concentration
Yeah.
of
Okay.
creatine. But you get
Okay.
absolutely, if you eat a meat-based diet, you are
Yeah.
also ingesting creatine as
So
well.
why would you, if you already, let's say I get it for someone who is not a meat base, that's a vegan or a vegetarian, but if you're already eating meat, why would you take more?
Excellent question. We didn't
Thank
even
you.
rehearse this, but that's a great question. Yes. Why supplement something that you already produce and eat in your diet? So, what creatine is used for in your body is in the conversion to energy. So Nadia will know this because she's been to PT school, but we have 3 energy systems. The
Yes.
first energy system is our phosphocreatine system. So this is responsible for giving us that initial boom, short, sharp
ATP.
burst of energy. So you might do that in lifting, deadlifting. If you're a sprinter, if you're Usain Bolt, boom, that first launch off of the things that you put your feet on. I don't know what they're called,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
those
yeah.
things.
Your runner's lunge and then you start going. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Boom, that initial boom, that's your phosphocreatine system at work. So the creatine molecule is attached to a phosphorus molecule. This is too sciencey, doesn't matter. In that initial burst of energy, they get separated, and the creatine is used to provide that high power
Boof.
energy.
Yeah.
Boof.
Okay.
And then we move into our other energy systems where we start to rely on glucose. And then when we start to rely on our fatty acids,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
depending on the intensity. So the reason you might want to supplement with creatine is so that you have more in storage, so that when it comes to doing your exercise, it gives you that edge in terms of your performance. So it's been found to be helpful with speed, power, can help you lift that little bit heavier,
Yeah.
make you go that little bit faster. It means that your
Fascinating.
muscles can go for a bit longer before they start to fatigue.
Yeah.
And this is where bodybuilders were onto it, because of course, the more that they can lift for the longer period of time, the bigger their muscles become. So
Yeah.
they're absolutely onto the right thing. But all athletes can and probably do supplement with creatine, because then that just makes sure that because we're using it throughout the day. I probably, in my demonstrations there of launching off, I was probably using my creatine system. So, throughout the day, we are producing it, we are eating it, but we're also using it as well. So
Yeah.
supplementing just makes sure that the stores that we have in our muscles and in our brain are topped up essentially at all times. So we can get those performance benefits whenever we want them.
Okay, I'm going to go a bit off topic a little bit with the creatine. No, it is in topic with the creatine. Now, we've done an episode about NEAT. Does that have anything to do with NEAT? Does that help with the energy with your... So the creatine is giving you that boost for the NEAT that you are putting out, I guess is what I would say.
I guess it depends what NEAT you're doing. I mean, we talk about NEAT as your kind of everyday movement. I guess if you are throwing a ball for your dog to run after and catch, that's
explosive. What if you've got like jet up the stairs or something like that? That would be part of that, wouldn't it?
Any acceleration or anything where you get that boom, short, sharp, whoa, go.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're just kind of walking, unless you suddenly need to accelerate to jump out of the way of a bus or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Then you're probably using your other energy systems.
That's when that, okay. I'm just,
Yeah. So, you're using different energy systems at different points throughout the day, depending on your heart rate and your intensity. But the phosphocreatine system is usually about 10 seconds. So it's not, once you've used that up, then you switch into your other energy systems and they take over to continue with the activity, whatever it is that you're doing.
Which is your APT,
Yes.
So okay, now we've understand what it is, what it does, and now let's find out, like, Michelle, how much we should take, because I know for myself, I've found out through my coach and also discussing this with Michelle before we started recording, is because I've got a kidney disease. There is a part that's called overloading. And then there is what you do maintenance throughout after that. For myself, anybody who's got a kidney disease, I know because I get blood tests done, various blood tests, and they measure out also my creatine, which is, what is the word that you're saying? The
creatinine.
Which is
so when creatine has been used, the waste product is creatinine, and that's excreted in your urine, but is also present in your blood. So the blood tests that you're talking about are looking at your creatinine, the waste product. Yes, the clearance of the creatine that's been used.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
And with that, because I know where I'm at for that. Anyways, so I am taking 5 grams a day. So I'm just doing maintenance for load. Now, can you explain, because I know nothing about overload, because I've heard of it, but I don't know the whole process and how you should do it and take it. Can you explain a little bit more about how that works?
Yeah, so if you buy a bag of creatine, it will have the instructions for how to take it on the bag. More often than not, pretty much all of them will tell you to go through this kind of pre-loading phase. So what that is aiming to do is to saturate your muscles as quickly as possible. So they tend to suggest, and I don't know the numbers off the top of my head because I also don't actually think this is necessary. I think they suggest for you to take about 20 grams per day for a week or so. And the idea is that you just have so much creatine that it saturates your muscles. So then when you drop to your maintenance dose, which is anywhere between 3 grams and 5 grams, up to 10 grams, depending on what you're doing, then you're just kind of maintaining the level that is stored in your body.
Yeah.
However, you don't need to do that loading phase because you're going to be using your creatine stores at different phases. So if you are supplementing with it every day, your muscles are going to become saturated. It might just take a little bit longer. You're still going to be getting the benefits. If you want to go for it, like do it. The main side effect, I guess, so to speak, of doing the preloading is that people might find that they are a bit bloated,
Water
because it might
retention.
lead to water retention. Whereas if you just go straight into taking that more maintenance dose of it, you're less likely to experience that bloating because it makes you hold on to water. So if you want to do it, go wild. Like, it's not going to hurt you to do that, but it's also not really that necessary either.
And I'm gonna put one thing in here as well, is because it goes through the kidneys. It makes the kidneys work a little bit harder because it's got to clear through the kidneys, and because of that, that's where the water retention comes in. So if you're not correctly hydrated for yourself, which we are going to do another episode about, not another, but we are going to do an episode about hydration. I'm going to give you guys a quick tip. Times your body weight times 3%. That'll give you how many liters in kilograms, by the way. Your weight in kilograms times by 3% equals the amount of minimum of water you should be drinking a day, minimum. So if you're working out, all of that, you need to increase it. If you are taking that creatine, you need to increase it. So then that doesn't make the kidneys work overdrive, because the kidneys need hydration, need water to work properly. So I just want to just really make sure with that. If you got to make sure you're well hydrated. Yes, you're going to pee more, but you won't be retaining water, and you're not putting as much work on your kidneys for that. So that's just my little take on that bit.
Yeah, indeed.
Now,
I talked about maintenance being anywhere between 3 and 10. So basically, if you are a bodybuilder, not even a bodybuilder, if you are somebody that trains hard in the gym 3+ times a week, you are going to be using more creatine. If you are an athlete, if you play a sport 3 or 4 times a week, you are going to be using more creatine. So you might need more creatine. So you might find that actually you want to be taking more, like 10 grams per day, to ensure that you're topped up. I train 4 times a week, 4 or 5. I take 5 grams. But other people might want to take more. Some people might want to take less. If you are erring on the side of caution, if you have got an issue with your kidneys, you might want to take 3 grams. So, there's not a definitive amount that you have to take. Some people, especially if they eat a diet that's quite high in meat, they might be ingesting quite a lot, so they won't need to supplement with as much. Of course, there's no way of knowing. You can't just call up your muscles and say, how are my creatine levels looking? So, you don't know. So it's something that you've just got to kind of play around with and find what works for you, I guess.
It's not a bad thing as well, before you even start this, is go see your doctor and get your blood work done for that and see where the levels are. Because obviously I get blood work done quite a lot from monitoring my kidneys and everything. And it should be in a good place, is between 45 and, was it 45 and, no, 60, no, 45 and 90.
90,
yeah, where that's the balance between the good state. And yeah.
Yeah, see, that's an interesting thing, because the use of creatine produces creatinine, and elevated levels of creatinine in your blood or urine can be an indicator of a kidney disease. If you have never had your levels tested and then you start taking creatine, you might go to the doctors and they might say, oh, you've got quite high levels of creatinine in your blood. We need to have a look at this. But it could be, oh, actually, I just take creatine. It's fine. My kidneys are good. This is just the extra waste from the creatine that I'm taking. So, it can kind of cause a false alarm, a false positive in a test. So it's always good to let your doctor or whoever's doing your blood test know if you are already taking creatine. But some people, if they know that they've got blood tests coming up, will stop taking creatine about 3 weeks in advance, just so you don't get that kind of false positive.
Yeah. And as well, just letting them know.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
Now,
just let them know.
is it really worth it to do this?
Years, yes. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
so
yes,
we've
yes.
obviously talked a lot about this from a exercise perspective, and we have talked 100 million times about how we recommend exercise for everybody. But there are other benefits to it as well. And you already mentioned that you're in your perimenopause.
Yeah.
So the other area that we talked about creatine being stored is your brain. And
Mm,
there has been some really, really interesting research that is developing, and they need to do more of it, about how creatine can have neuroprotective properties. So it basically keeps your brain healthy. So if you have dementia in your family, if you have Alzheimer's in your family, this is
thank you.
something you should be interested in, because if you want to keep your brain as healthy as you can for as long as you can. Another really interesting thing that they found, and I think this was testing on perimenopausal women, because you can become more prone to anxiety, you can become
Yeah.
more prone to depression.
Memory
And I
loss,
think,
focus.
yep, all of these cognitive function symptoms that happen during perimenopause. I don't have the study on me, but if anyone wants to know, we can look this up and put it
Yeah.
in the notes or send it to you. But what they have found is that people that are having a major depressive episode and are taking medication for it, supplementation with creatine helped the response to the drugs that they were taking. It was a
Wow.
stronger response. So it can be used in that sense to help somebody who is having a major depressive episode. So it's good for your mood, it's good for your brain health, it's good for your muscle health, it's good for your energy levels. Like, there are just so many good things about creatine, and hardly any side effects. I wouldn't really call water retention a side effect.
No.
And that's really the only thing.
The only thing why I am conscious about water retention is because I want to stress this out, because I have a kidney disease,
Yeah.
I have gained 7 kgs of weight, and that was just all
Water.
water waste.
Yeah.
So and I'm like talking about bloating, I can't fit into my clothes, it's uncomfortable to breathe. So that's why for me, making sure you're well hydrated is so important. That's why I wanted to make that stressor, because that is
Mm.
something that what it says in the literature is make sure you're well hydrated, especially if you've got kidney disease. But it doesn't matter. We should all be well hydrated. I'll go
Yeah.
about that another day, anyways.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting. I'm gonna like learning how I've been a bit hesitant because of the kidneys and everything, but now I'm feeling a bit more confident about it, and especially coming into the perimenopause, and yeah, and feeling those symptoms of feeling a bit more anxious, and um I'm feeling myself get stronger. So I want to have a bit of more power. So, and I wanted to help with my sleep. And also, from what I look at, from what I've read as well, is that it helps with your bones, the health of your bones as well. So,
It's
it's it
just
just
all good.
it's all good stuff, especially when
Yeah.
you're at that stage, for the females of that stage. And I'm not going to say just for females, because even for males, your hormones are changing as well. It's not the same thing as for females, but either way, and that's going to help, because it'll help with the muscle, the strength of the muscles, your bone mass, your mental health as well, as we were talking about. It's not just for the females in their perimenopausal stage, but anybody actually. And I
Mm.
know there's dementia and Alzheimer's in my family. So yeah, my grandmother and my dad both, had dementia and Alzheimer's. So this is really making me think, about how am I going to optimize and live my life in vitality. So
Hmm.
just finding all those little hacks, those little biohacks, and this is one of them.
Mm. Yeah.
That's good.
So in terms of buying creatine,
Mm.
um, creatine monohydrate is what you want to buy. And you'll find that some companies sell creatine monohydrate. The only ingredient is creatine monohydrate. I would recommend that. Creatine is creatine, it's a molecule, it is what it is. Go for the cheapest one, in my opinion. You will get some supplement companies that add stuff to it and claim that it's better and all of this and all of that. I would say if you want the benefits of creatine, take creatine monohydrate. Don't waste your money on all the other stuff. Don't get lured in by the marketing. It is what it is.
Yep.
So for me, I buy different brands because I shop around and see who's got the best deal on, and I buy that one because it is what it is. It is what it is. It's creatine monohydrate.
And that's that.
The end.
That's it. The end.
The end. So don't get sucked into marketing. Just check the ingredient. If there's one and it's creatine monohydrate and it's a good deal, get it. Get it.
Nice.
And we were talking before, weren't we, about how we take ours? Because it's generally powdered. I think you can buy pills, but generally it's powder. So I drink mine. I mix mine with my collagen powder. So I have a nice little drink at the end of the day. But when it was hotter and I was having smoothies, I would put it into my smoothie and whiz it up.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I have for myself, I remember when I had first bought it, and then I started doing the overload as well, because I didn't know it. But then I stopped because something just didn't feel right. And that was just my intuition just saying, stop, Nadia, learn more about it. And so at that time I put it into my smoothie, but I am right now playing around with some gluten-free oats. So I'm doing overnight oats, which I love. I'm putting like maca powder in it and some plant-based protein powder, but then also collagen in it. Yeah, and it's just so good. I love it.
And you probably can't even taste the creatine. My partner can drink it with water. And it doesn't have a taste, but for me, tastes like gritty water. So I need it mixed with a flavor or hidden.
Yeah, in something else. Yeah. So it's just finding what works for you into that. And it doesn't matter what time of the day, you can take it anytime. And I'm just wondering now, because you say I know you take it in the evening, is what you have said. Now, I'm just wondering if there is some small benefit during then at all. No, not whatsoever.
The timing of your creatine does not matter at all, because it's just coming into your body and it's sitting in your muscles. It doesn't matter. It doesn't give you any benefit if you're having it during a workout. Doesn't matter. As long as you're having it every day, doesn't matter. I find with any supplements that you're taking, so I also take fish oil and magnesium, getting into a routine of having it at pretty much the same time every day helps you to remember to take it. So I have the collagen and creatine drink, and I use that to take my fish oil and my magnesium. So it's like a little nighttime ritual after I finish dinner, because my collagen is mango flavored, so it's like a little bit sweet. Finishes off my dinner, take my sups, and then I brush my teeth. So it's kind of just a little routine.
Fascinating that you take fish oil at night, because fish oil is actually supposed to give you some energy. So you should be taking that through the day, not at night.
Energy to sleep. Yeah, it doesn't affect my sleep at all. I take it with magnesium, so
that's probably why, because I take magnesium and zinc at night. And then I have the chamomile tea. That's my thing. It's magnesium and zinc. So then it helps my body to repair as well, because we're quite low in our zinc. And and then I have my chamomile tea to help me relax. And I think my magnesium contains quite a bit of zinc, and my fish oil also contains vitamin D. So I'm doubling up on my supplement. Well, it makes sense for your fish oil to have vitamin D, because it's a oil-based vitamin, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's the best kind is because of the vitamin D I take, which I do it in the morning for myself personally, is in an oil base. So rather than a tablet.
You put the oil on a spoon and drink it.
No.
Fish oil.
It's like a little dropper. It's a dropper.
But does it taste of fish?
No. It's
this is
vitamin D in an oil base.
Oh my God. So, because back in the olden days, they would take cod liver oil on a spoon. and
Yeah.
drink it. My granddad used to do that, and I think I did it once, and it was just awful.
Yeah.
That's what I thought you meant when you said you.
No,
Oh my
no,
gosh.
because vitamin
Just
D
brought
should
back the
be,
taste and the memories. Ugh.
because you know how you can get vitamin D capsules, right? Like
Mm.
tablets and stuff. It's not a very good source because you need to have the vitamin D needs to be in an oil. So I
Because it's
take
fat
mine,
soluble.
yes, and I take mine is an oil. So it's like a little dropper out of the little glass contain jar thing.
Vial,
And I
yeah.
just, yeah, and then just do the drops in the morning.
Oh, phew, that's good. I thought you were
And
doing
then
a
stress you
fishy
out. You're like,
thing, and
oh
I
my God, how can you
just
do
like
that?
the memories. The memories
Stop,
came
we've been
back.
a
I can
trigger for
smell
Michelle.
it. Oh man. Yeah, no, you're good. You're good.
Okay, okay. Enough on a bit of a tangent here
Yeah.
on what supplements we
Yeah.
take in the evening, and but hopefully you guys found that helpful with learning a little bit more about creatine. I certainly have learned little tidbits, and by this is one thing I think I love about the creating this podcast with Michelle is it may we tend to do a little bit of not tend to we do some research beforehand, and I'm loving this, and I'm loving that, and this is a skill, something that I'm totally grateful for. I'm going to start off with this, Michelle. I am totally grateful for is this podcast and Michelle, because it's getting me to tap into doing some research and learning deeper into things. Not saying I don't learn about anything, but just different topics every week and this and that. And it's fun and I love it. And I'm really grateful for that. Grateful for the opportunity to expand my knowledge and strengthen my knowledge on some things and share it with all of you and Michelle and vice versa. So thank you, Michelle. I like this. This is good. I'm enjoying this.
A lifelong learner.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
heard that
totally.
somewhere this week. I was like, oh, a lifelong learner.
That's what
That's
it shall
nice.
be. What are you grateful for on that note?
Oh, actually, no, sorry, just on that subject, I
Yeah.
think, we live in an age where information is available to us very
Yeah.
easily on a search engine at our fingertips. We don't have to go wild and go to the library and look up encyclopedias and all of the things that we used to have to do back in the day.
Yeah.
So, don't just take our word for it. If this is something that you are interested in, but you're still not sure, you're on the fence, maybe we've piqued your interest, do some research, but just be careful that you don't get sucked into marketing and,
Yeah.
over promising this and that. Do your research. Examine.com is a really good resource if you are interested in researching supplements, because it's not sponsored by a supplement company, which is a good
Always a
thing. And
bonus. Yeah. And that's
it so
something to be.
it's yeah, and it reviews all of the literature that is done, because you can get a scientific study to show anything, especially if it's paid for by a supplement company. So
Yeah. You got
you
to see
know,
who's the sponsoree and who's doing the study as
yeah,
well, because there's Google
yeah,
Med as well that you can look up research papers and various things
yeah,
on that as
yeah,
well. So there's a lot of great Google search engines to just learn more
yeah.
about it. But
Mm.
always, first and foremost, always get in touch with your physician, get some blood work done, have a talk with them first before doing anything else. That is the
If you're
one thing.
concerned, yeah.
Yeah.
I
If
didn't
that's
get blood tests done before I started taking creatine.
yeah,
I'm not concerned either. I
I
don't have
would just be,
concerns.
yeah, for me, I just be
Yeah,
rather be
yeah,
safe than sorry.
yeah.
Especially if you're coming into that state and you want to do something properly. There's nothing wrong with going to see your doctor, getting some blood work done. It's an investment, and you get to learn as well.
Yeah.
Okay, Michelle, I did my gratitude. What's yours? How's your week been? First thing that comes to mind.
Oh, my week has been interesting. It has been a long and short week. When you're
Okay.
like, oh yeah, this thing that's happening on Friday, and then you're like, oh, Friday's tomorrow.
Yeah,
Where it's like it seems so far
yes.
away, but also tomorrow. Like it's been one of those
Yeah.
displaced weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm grateful to have had a good week. and to be ending it on a high, doing our podcast, going out on a date tonight with my partner. He's surprising me. I don't know. So I'm grateful for that. The anticipation and the excitement of not knowing what's going to happen.
Cool.
So happy.
I'm making some gluten-free pizza.
I actually had pizza for my lunch today. I made a wrap pizza. So I used a tortilla wrap. I put some tomato paste on it. I cooked some chicken separately, put some chicken on it, grated cheese on top, put some olives, and then put it under the grill. It was delicious. I took a photo. I'm going to put it on my Instagram.
Okay.
But I was thinking of you because I was like, I wanted something warm, but I also couldn't be bothered to cook something. And it honestly took me 10 minutes. It was lovely.
That's awesome. I like that. Yeah. I think maybe put it on the Yogi and the Blonde.
I'll put it on the Yogi and the Blonde Instagram.
Yes. Just like how I did with the, I don't know if you've seen that with the breathwork workshop I'm doing.
Yes.
Anywho, I think that's enough of us babbling, but banter babble. Hopefully you picked up some good information on the creatine, on what Michelle had for lunch, and how we what we're grateful for this week. You guys have a fabulous day. Now, don't forget to follow us, to like us, to comment wherever that might be. And hey, even tag and share us on the stories and tag us and let us know what you liked. What was your takeaway from it? We'd love to know. We'd love to be able to spread this and able to help others, and just guidance, anything that we can motivate people, give them a bit of a laugh at the same time, and just to be comfortable to be you. Anywho, guys, thank you for joining Michelle and myself in the Yogi and the Blonde. 2 for 2. Okay, bye everyone. Thank you.
If you have enjoyed listening to our podcast today
and want to hear more, please subscribe using the button below.